floods, a powerful tornado, extreme heat putting some 17 million people at risk nationwide. And near the Grand Canyon, this wildfire exploding in size in just 24 hours. In Texas, growing questions about why critical alerts were not set out to warn people about the deadly flood threat.
How many lives do we have to lose in order for them to fix the system?
And the new flood threat for the region tonight. President Trump threatening new tariffs on two of the U.S.'s biggest trading partners. What it could mean for the prices you pay. Plus, the president on the offense against one of his critics. The new threat he's making against Rosie O'Donnell. Turmoil over the Epstein investigation. The White House facing more pressure from some of its own supporters as questions swirl about whether the FBI's deputy director could step down. Fallout from a judge's new ruling limiting some immigration efforts, and what Democratic lawmakers say they saw inside a controversial detention facility. New questions tonight about the death of a 20-year-old American man in the West Bank. An inside look at how government funding cuts are taking a toll on critical recovery programs. And there's good news tonight about this woman's adventure of a lifetime.
This is NBC Nightly News with Jose Diaz-Balart.
Good evening. We begin tonight with millions of people under threat of severe weather, from flooding to wildfires and also extreme heat. Heavy rains in Iowa triggered these flash floods, along with an EF2 tornado. That system is now moving through the Midwest tonight. Out west, temperatures are soaring to near record highs, making the battle against this massive fire by the Grand Canyon harder to control. And in Texas, just 1 week after those catastrophic floods, the threat of more rain there today could make the recovery even more difficult. Our team is covering it all tonight. Shaquille Brewster starts us off.
In Davenport, Iowa, firefighters seen wading through waist-high water. SUVs left stranded as the heavy rain sparked a rare flash flood emergency Friday night.
Literally all the water just started coming in, coming out.
This video showing a portable toilet floating down a residential street.
Girl, that is so scary.
All part of a system that sent at least an EF2 tornado tearing through parts of the state. Flash flood warnings now in effect in Oklahoma City, where we're already seeing frightening road conditions. From Ohio to western Kentucky tonight, 12 million people under severe weather alerts, with temperatures soaring into triple digits for millions more out west. Parts of the Grand Canyon shut down today as these stunning images show smoke from the Dragon Bravo fire billowing in, forcing evacuations along with the White Sage fire, which exploded to more than 19,000 acres and is 0% contained.
It's fast moving, and so that makes it really unpredictable and really hard to contain.
Melinda Rich Marshall says she scrambled to evacuate guests and employees and save artifacts from her family-owned Jacob Lake Inn. The fire now just 3 miles from the complex that stood for more than 100 years.
Love for our family history, for the legacy that my great-grandparents started.
Meanwhile, smoky air blocking out the sun in Minneapolis, where air quality alerts from Canadian wildfires hit Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. This summer of severe weather not letting up.
And Shaquille joins me now. Shaq, you're also tracking reports of multiple people struck by lightning late today.
That's right, Jose. This happening at St. Augustine Pier in Florida. Officials saying 3 people were treated, 2 hospitalized, including 1 in critical condition tonight. It's a reminder, local responders say, when you hear thunder, it's best to go inside. Jose?
Shaquille Brewster in Chicago, thank you. Also tonight, the threat of even more rain in Texas could make the recovery effort even more difficult there, just 1 week after those devastating floods. Ryan Chandler reports from Kerr County.
The talk around AI is still skyrocketing, but the walk, it's tripping downhill. But
underneath the rugged waters of the Guadalupe, the desperate search drives on. Elite forensic divers from across the country giving their time and money to search for bodies.
How dangerous is this recovery work? There is a bit of risk to it just because of the visibility. We don't have any visibility at all, so everything's by feel.
The work is hard, slow, and heavy. Divers scour muddy water up to 15 feet deep to answer pleas for help from grieving families.
He said, please, he said, I don't know where my little girl is, but please just don't stop. And I told him, I said, sir, we won't stop. She went home.
Alongside the search for bodies, the push for answers. Our NBC station in Dallas obtained FEMA records showing that Kerr County did not use a national wireless alert system to send alerts with safety instructions when flooding began. Though the National Weather Service sent a flood warning to cell phones at 1:14 a.m. on July 4th, NWS forecasters cannot give instructions on whether to evacuate. Local officials have to do that. Leslie Kosarek says by the time she and her husband received this alert from a different system that they had to sign up for, roads were already washed away.
How many lives do we have to lose in order for them to fix the system? It's broken.
Today, these rescuers say, while they don't know how many people are left to find, they did know they had to be there. What made you want to come all the way here from Ohio?
It was because of the amount of kids that were lost. We felt the need to come down and do our part. This is Americans helping other Americans, is what it's all about.
And Ryan joins me now from Center Point, Texas. Ryan, more rain is on the way there.
Yeah, Jose, we're watching a flash flood threat for Central Texas, including right where we are. Heavy rain could come down as soon as tonight, Jose.
Ryan Chandler in Center Point, Texas. Thank you very much. And don't miss Meet the Press tomorrow when Kristen Welker interviews Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. That's tomorrow morning, right here on NBC. President Trump is threatening new tariffs on two of our biggest trading partners, Mexico and the EU. Yamiche Alcindor with more on this new trade war escalation and the impact it could have on the prices we all pay.
Tonight, President Trump threatening to impose 30% tariffs on the European Union and Mexico. In a letter to the president of the European Commission, President Trump writing, "We have concluded that we must move away from these long-term, large and persistent trade deficits." The European Commission president responded, saying they could retaliate with more tariffs. President Trump also writing a letter to Mexico's president, saying Mexico still has not stopped the cartels. Mexican officials pushing back, saying these new tariffs are unfair treatment.
Consumers and businesses should be concerned because there is no time to bring products in early to offset the incoming tariffs. Everything is going to cost more over time.
As the president deals with international tension, there is also fighting within his administration. Two sources tell NBC News that Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is considering leaving his job after Attorney General Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and FBI issued an unsigned memo this week that said there is no additional evidence to reveal in the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The memo has enraged many Trump supporters who are accusing this administration of a cover-up.
Make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Tonight, President Trump posting online, Attorney General Pam Bondi is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, adding people should not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. One person who spoke to Bongino telling NBC News that Bongino is threatening to quit and torch Pam unless she's fired. An FBI spokesman did not respond to requests for comment, and the Justice Department declined to comment.
Yamiche is traveling with the president, and Yamiche, President Trump is also taking aim at comedian Rosie O'Donnell.
That's right. Well, today, President Trump threatened to take away Rosie O'Donnell's U.S. citizenship, though he has no clear legal path to do so. O'Donnell has been a longtime critic of President Trump even before he ran for office. She moved to Ireland in large part because the president was reelected. Jose?
Yamiche Alcindor with the president in Warren, New Jersey. Thank you. Now to a major ruling in California. A federal judge is putting new limits on some immigration arrests. Steve Patterson has a story.
Protests Friday night in Southern California, part of the latest battle in the political war over President Trump's sweeping immigration enforcement, which on Thursday saw one of its biggest operations yet, with hundreds arrested at 2 California cannabis farms. Then, late last night, a federal judge ruling immigration agents in Southern California may not stop and detain people based solely on their race, language, or line of work. In a temporary restraining order responding to a lawsuit filed over recent arrest, the judge calling it illegal to conduct roving patrols, which identify people based upon race alone, question and detain them without reasonable suspicion that they are in the country without legal status.
Don't drain your savings for your home renovation. Skip the credit cards. Interest rates are often over 20% and will cost you.
He's an idiot. I mean, he's frankly an idiot.
Today, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem firing back at the judge, who is actually a woman, and vowing to appeal.
We have all the right in the world to go out on the streets and to uphold the law and to do what we're going to do. So none of our operations are going to change.
Noem's defiance coming as Florida Democratic lawmakers today toured the so-called Alligator Alcatraz, the massive migrant detention camp in the Everglades. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz blasting the conditions.
The pictures that you've seen don't do it justice. They are essentially packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage.
A back-and-forth struggle over American ideals, today spanning coast to coast. Steve Patterson, NBC News.
To the Middle East now, where a 20-year-old American citizen was reportedly killed by Israeli settlers in the West Bank. Matt Bradley reports from Jerusalem.
This Palestinian village in the West Bank is mourning 2 of their own. One was a young American. 20-year-old Saifullah Musalet, born in Florida and visiting relatives, was beaten to death Friday by Israeli settlers, his family said. In a post online, Musalet's family said settlers blocked the ambulance and paramedics from providing life-saving aid for several hours. Officials said a second Palestinian man was shot dead. The State Department confirmed the death of an American and offered its condolences to the man's family. Israeli police said they were looking into the incident. The deaths come amidst a surge of settler violence against Palestinians throughout the West Bank, trying to force Palestinians out. Until 2 weeks ago, this tiny hamlet of Al-Muwarajat was home to a few hundred Bedouin herders. We visited in May just as settlers were ramping up their attacks. Israeli Amir Pansky works for an Israeli organization that monitors settler harassment.
Their goal is to push them out of this area.
By what? By simply harassment?
By violence, harassing, attacking.
So this was the village mosque. This is where everybody came to pray until February. It's when nearby settlers came and burned it down. But the settlers weren't finished. The regular harassment continued for months until village residents said the settlers pitched a tent inside the village on July 2nd, brought their animals to graze, and stole from the community. When they were drinking in the house and taking off their clothes, Alia said, we decided we had to leave. But with settler violence increasing, there are few safe places left for them to go. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Al-Muwarajat in the occupied West Bank.
Still ahead tonight, Russia launching a massive new attack deep inside Ukraine's territory. Plus, the historic Wimbledon victory in the women's final today. Back now with Russia striking deep inside Ukraine's territory today. Russia launching hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles targeting western Ukraine. It's the 4th major attack from Russia on Ukraine this month in what appears to be escalating attacks. Ukrainian President Zelensky says at least 2 people were killed in a town bordering Romania and that about 20 more people were hurt. Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway has officially been cleared from the investigation into a fatal golf cart accident. It comes months after Jeff Sperbeck, a sports agent and longtime friend of Elway's, died after he fell off a golf cart Elway was driving. Our Denver station, KUSA, reporting that the investigating sheriff's office will make a formal announcement soon. And a rough loss at Wimbledon for American Amanda Anisimova in the women's final. It took Poland's Iga Świątek less than an hour to defeat her. Świątek became the first woman since 1911 to win the Wimbledon final without losing a single set. We're back in a moment with an inside look at how government funding cuts are already impacting recovery programs across the country, how one of them is trying to move forward. Next. Back now with a closer look at the impact from the Department of Government Efficiency. The department says it saved hundreds of millions of dollars through funding cuts. Kate Snow has more on the critical programs that are already feeling the impact and the women who are at risk of losing it all.
At Fresh Start in Columbia, Tennessee, women in recovery live in group homes, finding a new path.
Says, I am creating something new in you.
Deidre Campbell is the executive director.
The purpose is to build community.
But back in March, Fresh Start learned a federal grant for prevention and treatment of substance abuse was being eliminated by the Trump administration, part of more than $1 billion in Department of Government Efficiency cuts nationwide to streamline spending and consolidate public health programs. Campbell says they lost about a quarter of their budget.
Were you worried that you might have to shut down?
It's always a fear, and it still is.
Suddenly, they couldn't afford the 5 houses they rented and had to close one down.
We had a storm come through, and this tree fell.
Oh, my gosh.
And now at this house, they can't afford repairs. Beth has been a resident for almost 8 months after 20 years of using opioids.
You've had Narcan used on you to revive you.
Multiple times. 13 times in 1 week.
Now she works the 4 a.m. shift at a convenience store.
Can you describe for me what it's been like to be in this program?
A lot of love.
A lot of support.
I haven't had a job in 20 years. And I found a boss that is wonderful.
Fresh Start used to provide groceries for everyone, but with the budget cut, residents like Beth have to buy their own.
Are you cutting back on how much you're eating?
Mm-hmm.
She worries what would happen if the program continues to shrink.
I won't have anywhere to go. And then I would lose my job. And then what? Back on the streets.
If you had to leave, do you worry that you would relapse?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't live. I don't have another relapse in me. I'm 43 years old. This has got to end.
You're doing all the work to end it. I see a very strong person sitting with me. That's what I see.
The Department of Health and Human Services told NBC News essential mental health and substance use programs continue. But Beth says she doesn't understand decisions being made in Washington.
What would you say to the folks that make these decisions?
We're worth it. Like, we could all become something. We just need to have a chance.
Kate Snow, NBC News, Mount Pleasant, Tennessee.
When we come back, there is good news tonight about 2 hero police officers who stepped up big time when this mother needed them most.
And the Prophet ﷺ said the best form of charity is giving water. Maybe you're the answer.
There's good news tonight. So often the good news doesn't get as much attention as the bad, so every Saturday we highlight the many people who spread joy and love, and these are just some of those stories this week.
Hi everybody, this is wonderful.
You've never seen an 80th birthday like this. That's Anne Swindell ringing in a new decade with a new perspective. This skydiving adventure was a surprise from her family to celebrate her big day. And taking a huge leap of faith over Michigan City, Indiana with her daughter Cynthia Bushman and granddaughter Samantha.
Not bad at all, right?
Oh, terrific. It's very flattering that your family includes you and doesn't consider you out of the picture by 80. It's fun to be a cool grandma.
For Cynthia, a reminder that new experiences don't have an age limit.
Don't ever second guess whether or not you should or you can, because you can, and you should.
It was moving. I was shocked.
For Meredith Hendershot, a massive show of support. When she began losing her hair during cancer treatments, her husband, Perry County Sheriff's Deputy Reese Hendershot, decided he would shave his head too.
He didn't have much left, bless his heart.
But he didn't expect how many of his fellow deputies would join in, along with officers from the nearby Tell City and Cannleton police departments in Indiana.
These guys are doing everything they can for me. There's no way they can do anything else more for me. And then they do something like this. It's just amazing.
And for Meredith, it meant everything.
If you let people love you and you let them in, it's amazing. This kind of love exists everywhere. You just have to open your eyes to see it.
And at this hospital, hugs for two heroes. Hours earlier, when Miami-Dade Schools police officer Sofia Blancas was driving on her morning commute, she answered the call to help Lorena Acosta, who was going into labor.
I put gloves on. I went to her side of the passenger side, and I sat in front of her, and I was just trying to guide her through it.
When Sofia's fellow officer, Melissa Fernandez, heard what was happening on the radio, she jumped into action.
As soon as I got there, I'm like, Sofia, what do you need? How can I help?
These two officers staying by Lorena's side, helping her welcome her son to the world.
When you wake up in the morning, you never think that something like this is gonna happen. I could relate to her because I'm a mother as well. It was an amazing experience.
It was emotional and relief to know that they were fine.
Sofia and Melissa, grateful to have played such an important role when they were needed most.
We never know what's gonna happen and who you're gonna encounter, but at the same time, what comes around goes around. So when you do good, you will receive good.
That's NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Hallie Jackson will be here tomorrow night. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. Thank you for the privilege of your time, and good night.
Bye. Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful day.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.